Hello everyone, welcome back to Educately Geography. Today we're just going to talk about how to read a map and just give some examples. First off, we have this map here. It looks like the United States. So how do we go about reading this? Let's look at the legend first. It's going to be this thing towards the side that tells us all we need to know. So it says United States of America. Okay, so this is the United States. So how do we read all these different lines and icons that appear? State boundary. Okay, so it appears that state boundaries are denoted with gray lines. Okay, so these gray lines around states, okay, those are state boundaries, and the names of the states, you can see that they're in all caps in gray lettering. Roads are denoted with red lines. Okay, so all these red lines, they're just main highways, I'm assuming. Rivers and I guess other bodies of water are blue. Okay, that makes intuitive sense. So all these blue lines are going to be rivers, and some of them are actually noted with their names. So the Colorado River is right here. Okay, so yeah, that makes sense. Pretty easy so far. National capital and state capitals, they're both denoted with stars, but it looks like the national capital, it's going to be a bigger star than the state capitals. Okay, so Washington D.C. is our state capital, and it is bigger than the other state capitals that are near it. So Annapolis and Dover have smaller stars because those are just state capitals, while Washington D.C. is the one in the national capital. Okay, that makes sense. City or town, okay, that's a dot. So all these cities and towns that aren't capitals, they're denoted with smaller dots. Okay, that makes sense. So yeah, is there anything else on this map? Okay, so we have inset maps right here, which are just two areas that are either towards the side or they don't follow the same scale, and they're usually in a different area than the actual main map. So the first one appears to be Alaska. It has a different scale from the one that's here. Note that a scale is just the size of the map. You can compare actual sizes using the different hash marks here. It appears at 300 kilometers. Okay, so one hash mark right here is going to be 100 kilometers, so you can measure that distance out with your fingers and then just see the distance between certain cities on a map. Okay, and miles has a different scale because miles are larger, but it looks like this map has a different scale. So does this map of Hawaii. So yeah, that's something to note. Okay, so next up we have a different map. Before we look at the title or the scale, we have no idea what it is. It just looks like the United States, but what do these colors mean? So we don't know. So let's look at the title. 1971 to 2000, mean sigma 0.995 wind speed. So mean wind speed, okay, that means average wind speed. It says January, so I guess this means January's from 1971 to 2000. Appears to be the United States. Okay. But what does sigma 0.995 mean? You might not know that if you don't know much about, I guess, complicated terms about geography and weather, but that just basically means at sea level or close to sea level. So yeah, everything's going to be held constant here. It doesn't appear to take elevation into account. Okay. According to the scale, this is meters per second. So that's what these numbers are. And I guess higher wind speeds are going to be pink to black. Middle level wind speeds is going to be green to yellow or red. Then we're going to have lighter wind speeds of white to blue. So yeah, so you can see based on that information, we can see that the more intense winds are going to be in the northeast, Montana right there. Then less intense wind speeds are going to occur in the southwest and I guess parts of the south. Okay, so that's what we learned from this map. Notice we didn't know anything before what these colors meant, but by looking at the title, the month, and then all the information towards the bottom, the scale, not necessarily the scale, the key, I should say. We learn a lot about how to dissect the information here and just process it. But yeah, that's nice. The last thing is that this didn't appear in the last two maps we just looked at, but this is known as a compass rose. It tells us which direction north is. It doesn't always look like this on a map. Usually there's no extra colors. It just tells you which way is north, west, east, and south. If there isn't any compass rose, you should always assume that the way that in which everything is written, so I guess all the cities and the way the map is supposed to be held, you should assume that up is going to be north, unless it tells you with a compass rose. Usually compass roses are just made to have a design feature or just clarify that fact. But sometimes you have maps that aren't necessarily pointing north anyways, in which case you can tell by the compass rose. If there's a red arrow that points in a different direction, the way in which the red arrow points is always going to be north. Just keep that in mind. So if you have a compass out right now and you point it towards the way you're facing and this is what you see, this means that you're not facing north. North is actually going to be about 80 degrees, 70 degrees to your east. So you would have to turn 70 degrees clockwise in order to face north. And then if you point your compass in that direction, that is going to be north. So yeah. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully that cleared some things up. Feel free to watch the other geography videos we have on our channel, or even other videos and other subjects that we have on our website. We have plenty of other subjects, but that does it for today, so thanks for watching.